What's up, guys? It's Amber, and as you can tell from the title, this video is going to be about my labor and delivery story, which was almost 2 years ago. My precious little baby's birthday is coming up in a couple of days, and I'm super excited, but that's the main reason why I've decided to do my labor and delivery video. So I'm just going to get started. So a little background story about the situation. Me and my husband were in Virginia. I got pregnant 2 months after we got married, or maybe it was 3 months. I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 months after we got married. I found out I was pregnant. I didn't have any family or I guess close friends in Virginia at the time. Well, I had a couple of friends, obviously. I met a lot of great people in Virginia. So I had a couple of friends there, but I did not have any family there with me in Virginia. So, to the story, I think I was about 38 weeks and it was a weekday. During that time, I wasn't working. I was just going to school full time. So I had a doctor's appointment in the morning and I went to the doctor's appointment, normal day, wasn't like feeling any contractions, nothing. And so I went to my OBGYN, she's checking my blood pressure and she's like, Amber, your blood pressure is super high. You need to go to labor and delivery. And she sent me on my way and told me, congratulations, that I'm probably going to be having my baby soon. But like, at the time, I wasn't like feeling anything. Like, I was like, this is like a normal day. Like, I didn't feel any different. She was telling me my blood pressure was high, but I don't know. I didn't feel anything different. And so when I left the OBGYN, I called my husband because he was at work. And then I called my mom, who was still in California, and I was like, my OBGYN said that I need to go to the hospital. My blood pressure is super high. So at that time, I didn't have any car seat in my car. I barely had my bag packed, like my hospital bag. Like, there was no car seat anywhere. Like, I wasn't ready. Like, I wasn't feeling anything, so I wasn't ready to be having a baby that day. I was just going to get my regular weekly checkup at that point. So after the doctor's appointment, I went back home. I ate because they told me that I wasn't going to be able to eat during labor and delivery because I already knew that. So I just went home, ate. I let time go past. Like, I wasn't really taking it serious. And so I probably went back to I went to labor and delivery maybe like 2 hours after my OBGYN appointment. And as I'm sitting in the waiting room at the labor and delivery clinic or hospital, I go in the back, they check my blood pressure, and like, I started panicking, and the lady that was taking my blood pressure started panicking as well. They're like, your blood pressure is so high right now. And so I'm like freaking out. They lay me on this little bed. They start strapping me up, making me sign all these waivers. And like, as you can imagine, like, first time being pregnant, I mean, like, in this situation, I was low-key like freaking out. And so I'm signing all this paperwork, all these people are talking to me, I'm getting IVs in my arm, my hand, whatever. I don't know, they're pushing me through labor and delivery, like, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, nobody's here with me, nobody knows that I'm here right now. And I'm like asking the nurse, I'm like, when am I gonna be able to like call my husband? I need to call my husband, let them know that I'm here, let them know what's going on. And so like, I don't know, I was just freaking out at that point. So finally I got to relax. And I called my husband. I'm like, Anthony, you need to leave work. I'm in the hospital by myself. I call my mom. I tell my mom, like, I'm in the hospital. They said my blood pressure is really high. They say it can be really dangerous. What's it called? I think it's called preeclampsia. So that's what it was. I had preeclampsia. My blood pressure was through the roof. And so finally, everyone is on the same page as me. My husband ends up coming like maybe like an hour later, because I was all the way in Portsmouth and he worked in Norfolk, and so it took him a while to get to the hospital where I was. But as soon as he came, I was relaxed. And at this point, they were monitoring the baby, they were monitoring me, like, I don't know, everything was fine. They were telling me that if I wasn't starting to like what's the word? Open up. Dilate. They say if you weren't starting to dilate, they were going to induce me because my blood pressure was, at this point it was under control, but it was still high, and it was only being under control by the medication that they were giving me. And so they said if nothing was changing in my blood pressure and baby's heart rate wasn't fluctuating too much, then they were going to have to induce labor. And so my mom my stepdad and my little sister ended up flying all the way from California to Virginia, where we were, and they like showed up in the hospital. At like this point, I'm like kind of in and out. I wasn't feeling any pain. It just felt like really like a normal day. And luckily, like they had got me in time because they had induced me. They put these little things up your vajayjay, and that's supposed to like help you dilate. I don't know. That whole day kind of like blurred. Those moments, because I was going in and out of sleep. I don't know. I was like kind of sleepy. But anyways, I wasn't dilating. I was at like 3 centimeters or whatever all day. I got to the doctor at what 1 p.m. or something, and it was like 10 p.m. and I was still at the same like dilating measurements. And so I'm starting right now to feel contractions, and I was crying. I remember crying and like saying like, oh, telling the nurse. They ended up putting like an oxygen mask on my face too, because something about the baby not having like oxygen and stuff. And so they ended up putting a mask on my face. I'm having contractions. I'm crying. I'm like, stop, I don't want this mask on my face. I can't breathe with this mask on my face. Like being really dramatic. At that time, like I really felt like I couldn't breathe. I think it's because the pain, like the contractions were so strong at that moment. I was like, take this mask off me. Like I literally can't breathe. And the nurse yelled at me. She said, no, you need to keep that mask on your face. It's for your baby's health. And I put it on. I remember just crying, rolling on my side. And so Allie's blood pressure, or her heart rate, had ended up staying at like one steady like number. And I guess when they're in your womb, their heart rate's supposed to be going up, down. It's supposed to be fluctuating. So hers wasn't, and that was kind of like freaking everybody out or whatever, and especially me. And so they kept having to turn me to my side to see if her heart rate would change, turn me to my other side, see if her heart rate would change, and it wasn't. And so that's what made them thinking, they're like, the nurses and doctors was like, okay, we think that the baby is under stress, so we need to, you know, make this process go a little faster. So they ended up asking me like, do you want to have this C-section? We recommend this C-section. I was like, no, I want to, you know, have her vaginally. And so maybe like an hour later, my contractions started getting so freaking strong, and I was like, take me to the operating room, give me the C-section. Like, I want the C-section. I'm tired of this pain. And so when I tell them that, they had already taken somebody else in the operating room, so there wasn't any room for me to go. So I had to wait, and I was sitting there crying. Like, I was like, take me to the operation room, get this little baby out of me. Like, I could not take the pain anymore. So they ended up giving me epidural in my back, and then they ended up I had the epidural for a while. Like, I think I sat with it for like an hour, and then like my pains were still coming. And so like I told the nurse, I'm like, I still feel these pains in my back. Like, what's going on? And so after they turned me over, they realized that the needle had came out of my back. And so every time I was pressing that button, nothing was like going into my system. So I was still feeling those pains. And after they realized that, they had to stick me in my back again. And so I'm sitting up, holding on to Anthony. I'm like, oh my God. The only thing I can really think of is, oh my God, I hope I don't get paralyzed from them sticking me twice in my back. Like, I'm already under distress. Like, they should not make these mistakes. That needle shouldn't have came out of my back. But that's a different story for a different day. Anyways, after they gave me that, I think it was like an hour or two later again. And I was relaxed at that point. I was chilling. I was basically like waiting for the operating room to be available so I can go get my C-section. But the nurse was like, oh, we can wait it out. We'll see if you start to dilate soon. The day goes past. It's the morning. I'm still not dilating. I'm still just like woozy. Most medication they're giving me. But finally, still not dilating. I think at that point, it was probably like 5 o'clock in the morning. I still wasn't dilating. Baby's heart rate was still like at a constant rate. And I was just over it. I tell them, take me to the C-section place. Like, take me there. I can't wait any longer. Like, this is taking way too long. You guys are supposed to induce labor, but nothing's really working. So they're pushing me into the labor and delivery. I'm kind of scared, and my mom is kind of scared too. Anthony's kind of scared. They're suiting and booting him up in the little scrubs and stuff so he can go in with me. And so I just remember them pushing me in there. It was really bright in the room. There were so many people in there, and that's what scared me the most, I think. And they just started the procedure. I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel anything really. So like I could barely move. I could only like move my top portion of my body. And so the procedure starts happening, the C-section, and like it didn't hurt or anything like that. The only thing is that I felt, oh, I just spilled chips. The only thing was that I felt a lot of tugging like in my midsection. Like a lot of tugging, like pulling. And then finally I figured out, oh, they're at the baby. They're at Allie's head right now. They're about to pull her out. And so I felt all that pulling, them trying to pull her head out of me. Oh my God. And it was just freaking me out. And I was just looking at Anthony like, he was holding my hand. I had another nurse at the top of my head, but I was relaxed for like the most part. The procedure didn't take long, like at all. Like at all. I mean, now I'm thinking about it now, I feel like it didn't take long. It probably took long at the moment. But they ended up pulling her out. I can't see anything because there's like a little like blanket there covering the procedure. But Anthony saw them pull her out, and he says like that was so gross. He looked over the curtain and he almost threw up. But they pulled her out, and then I knew they pulled her out, but I wasn't hearing her cry. Like I wasn't hearing anything. And so, you know, in my mind I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's okay. And so finally I hear and I was just like the sign of like relief, you know, hearing her cry or whatever. And so finally they gave baby to Anthony, and then Anthony held her for a little bit, and then they gave her to the nurse, and the nurse put her by my face for like 2 seconds. And we have a video of this, I'll probably put in there. And I just remember I had kissed her on the cheek. I was like, and then they took her away from me. And then after that, we get back to the room, and they actually put us like in a waiting room kind of thing. And like I was just sitting there, I think I was by myself. I couldn't feel any part of my body. Like I could not move like at all. Like, and they told me, oh, it would wear off in a little bit, then you'll have feeling in your legs and your toes and blah blah blah. And so my family started coming into this room, and they started telling me, oh, we saw her. And I'm just like, I want to see my baby. Can someone give her to me? Like I only saw her for about a couple seconds, and they took her away from me. So I was all emotional, like, give me my baby. And so yeah, like I had that C-section. My recovery was okay. I feel like I wouldn't do it any other way now. Like if I was to get pregnant again, I feel like I do not want a vaginal birth. I feel like my C-section process was just so easy. And I mean, I guess I don't know how a vaginal birth is, so I wouldn't really know. And so, like, I don't know, if I do it again, I definitely feel like I would want a C-section. But I also hear that after you have your first C-section, you have to have a C-section again after that. I don't know how true that is, and I don't even know if I'm having another baby because this one is a handful. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story about how my little munchkin Allie Wally Callie came into this world. I was so blessed to have all my family come in. Well, my immediate family, my mom, my stepdad, and my little sister fly in to Virginia so quickly to come meet our little new member of the family. And so happy for my husband, who was just so supportive throughout the whole situation and just very relaxed. My husband is never really on edge about anything. He's so relaxed. And so I was just so blessed to have that support system around me. And even afterwards, I had a couple friends come by and come visit Allie and just come give their well wishes. And I appreciated that a lot. A lot of people say they don't want people in the, I guess, the room after the baby is born or whatever. But I feel like it just made things better. Like a lot of people that came made me laugh, and it let me know that they supported, you know, me, and they were excited just as much as I was for my new little boo-boo right here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys again. And say bye, Allie.
Bye, Allie.
No, say bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
All right, see you guys next time.